If you want to grill beef like a champion, you came to the right place. In this episode, I'll show you every little secret to do it right. Guitar freaks and anorex, lovers of the Simmental organic beef, thanks for tuning in and welcome to Hilco Cuisine. People, what a weekend, what a week. I did some great stuff this weekend. I did some less great stuff this weekend. The great stuff was I had some beautiful pizza with friends. The next day, I smoked some ribs and chicken with some other friends and did a sauce tasting. But just before that, I kissed the concrete with my shoulder. And how I did that? Well, a braking mistake with my good old Vespa. And it is clear now I will never be a racing champion. But speaking of champions, I am a champion in barbecuing beef, the first prize at the Belgian Championship of Barbecue 7 years ago. And because I'm in a lot of pain with my shoulder, I had to go to the hospital. They took some x-rays and they did some other stuff, and they found out there's a couple of little tears in this muscle, and there's an inflammation in the muscles. I don't know how it is, how you say it in English, but it's bad. It's painful, but they gave me happy pills. Anyhow, muscles. A great tasting muscle is the ribeye from the Austrian cattle Simmental. And I was lucky enough to get my hands on a very nice piece. And especially for you, because I need the power, I need the energy for healing the shoulder, I have to do some meat. And today I'm going to share with you how to grill indoors a piece of meat like a champion. People, are we ready? Are we ready to do this? Are we grill ready? I think so. Come on, let's go to the kitchen. Once again, people, welcome to my kitchen. Before I'm opening this package, I would like to get the label off, but it's not working out, so just a scissor job. There we go, unpacking the meat and saving the label. Today we'll be grilling an organic Simmental from Austria, and before I do anything else, I measure the temperature, and it's 2 degrees, straight from the fridge. By the way, I'm not sponsored. I paid for everything myself. Incredible. So here is the meat. Let's weigh it. The package says 625 grams, and we got 590. And because I took my happy pills, I will not moan. Now I'm gonna cut this piece in two because 600 grams is a bit much for me. So I'm cutting it into one larger piece, one smaller one. I have to say, this beef feels so tender, it's incredible. Let's weigh out those pieces. Piece number 1 is 250 grams, piece number 2 is 340. I'm quite happy with that because tomorrow I will be enjoying the smaller piece as a lunch. We have to add some seasoning. And for this, I'm using Hilco Cuisine's hot salt. Yes, that's spicy salt, people. You put that generously on your steak. Don't be afraid, it will be a spicy steak. This will give an extra dimension to your beef, people. By the way, I have to go and wash my hands because they're nasty from that beef. And meanwhile, let me tell you a very important thing. Before you start grilling beef, always take it out of your fridge like half an hour to an hour before you start preparing it. Because you'll get a more even cook, people. Believe me, it's true. Anyhow, my hands are clean again, so we can season the other side of the steak that is waiting for me. And again, a lot of hot salt. Spicy hot salt. And here we go. 625 grams. Luc Karmans, you owe me a beer. Now, after half an hour, well, it's 45 minutes, the steak is reading 12 degrees. We heated it up by 10 degrees without any effort. The thing you have to do now is taking off all the hot salt with some paper towel. Then we're gonna add some olive oil. A nice massaging technique helps a lot. Massage it in, really nice. You will taste the love. Now let's move over to the stove and whack on a cast iron grill pan or plate, like I'm doing here, and preheat it for a couple of minutes. After a minute or 5, I'm reading almost 300 degrees at the hottest spot. That's great. And while that hot plate was heating up, our meat did the same thing. Just before we whack it on, we're gonna measure it again. During the preheating of the cast iron, we gained another 3 degrees. Incredible, people. Enough of boring measurement talk. Let's whack on that piece of beef and oil up the other side. Otherwise, it'll be sticking to your cast iron tool. That's right, you oil up the meat and not the grill. Anyhow, let's add some rosemary for extra flavor hola during this grilling. After 2 minutes, we flip over that beef, people. You flip it over and you let it go for another 2 minutes. Meanwhile, you put a plate on the coldest side of your grill, and another 2 minutes later, you flip over that beef and you angle it so you get nice grill marks. You check out the temperature. I don't know what I'm doing here, but it's just therapy for the waiting game. Now, another 2 minutes later, you flip it over again, you do some measuring, you are bored, you don't drink fine wine, you check out the heat of the plate and you move it at the side because it's hot enough. Once again, we flip it over. Now, we're gonna season it because the meat is almost ready. Just in case you're lost in counting time, we are 8 minutes into the grilling game. And after the salt, you can do some magic black pepper. Now we measure. We've got 45 degrees and I turned the heat off that plate. I'm turning the meat over and seasoning it at the other side with some very nice salt. You can use fleur du sel. Now let's move it over to a plate and let that meat rest for at least 10 minutes before cutting into it. And here we are cutting into it and we got a nice medium perfect steak. You are a champion if you grill it like this. People will love you. I love you. Don't forget it. I always add some extra seasoning when the cut is a wee bit thicker. This is a very nice salt I'm adding. You could perfectly use some Hilco hot salt when you like it spicy. Now people, thank you so much for watching. Next time, to compensate all the meat abuse, I might do something vegan. Anyhow, be nice to each other and let's pin down our next date. So next Wednesday it is. Till then, bye bye.